Hello, my name is Pig with Mustache. Well, not really. This time my name is Pass the Pentagon. Maybe I should explain it better. From the beginning. If you play Football Manager, you probably know already about the Pentagon Challenge, where you start unemployed and with no coaching badges to your name, and your final goal is to win the main continental competition in every continent. But not Oceania. We don't talk about Oceania. So, a pentagon has 5 sides, 5 continents, and that's where the name comes from. The Pass the Pentagon is a challenge created by YouTuber Washington, where you play for one season, make a video out of it, and then you pass your save file to someone else who will also play for one season, make a video, and then pass it forward until we reach our goal of completing the Pentagon Challenge. So far, in the first season, Washington got a job in Chile's second division of Santa Cruz, where he took the team from the bottom of the league to almost reaching promotion playoffs. Next was Ismoen, who achieved promotion to the top flight and reached the cup semifinals. Finally, Brazilian Fury moved to Ferroviária, who was in Brazil's top division, and he got the team qualified for Sudamericana, the Europa League of South America. He also got the first coaching course, which increases our reputation and makes it easier to move to better places. And now, it's my turn. If you see my last video, you can tell that the first thing I will do is try to get a new job, because the Brazilian calendar is so convoluted it's going to take forever just to finish the season. At first I figured that's also what Brazilian Fury thought, because it seemed he had applied for every job under the sun, even low-end manager somehow. But no, that's just how FM works. He hadn't done anything actually. Since Ferroviária is not a very strong team, I try to at least get a better job, so whoever plays next has a better chance of winning Libertadores. Maybe even try somewhere else. But nothing worked, so I'm stuck here for now. I will get my revenge, Thomas Tuchel. In my first look at the squad, I realized we were pretty thin. If we want to play well in 2 competitions at the same time, we need to go shopping! Our current squad has some good players like Lautaro Morales, Gustavo Medina, and Mr. Popo over here. And of course, Martiniano, who has been playing for every coach since the first season. That's why I signed. Zé Marcos, who was a starting defender for Vitória who finished above us, so that's a good sign. André Dominique and Junior Tavares to provide depth to our fullback positions. Jesus Castilho from Alianza Lima, Justo Gianni as our creative midfielder. Since Gustavo Cuellar, our defensive midfielder, was getting old, I got another old defensive midfielder. Look, almost nobody wants to play for us. Also took Monsalvo Loa and André Henrique as a forward, because Moreno isn't very tall and I wanted someone tall as an option. I also signed this kid. He's not going to be very useful for me, but I couldn't handle it. I mean, look at those stars. Our first game is against São Paulo, in a competition that's basically a pre-season tournament for the league. But it's really good for me to test the team. We scored the opener with a goal from Monsalvo. A little later they tie with a beautiful shot, and in the second half they score another one. It's not a good result, but with our squad, we can't ask for much more. What follows are some good results against some weaker teams and a draw against Palmeiras, which is pretty good. But soon we draw to Mirassol, who is not even in our division. And by this point I start to get embarrassed by using someone else's tactics. If I'm a Football Manager YouTuber, I need to come up with my own. And I did. I created the best tactic you can imagine. I slightly changed it to have a defensive midfielder, since the other tactic was a box. The new one I call Not So Box. Thanks to this new tactic, we can now confuse our opponents by making them jump away from the ball. And thus, we achieved our first win against another team from the same division. This tactic is so good, we are now even scaring our opponents into scoring for us. And just like this, we get consecutive victories until we play against Santos. They begin the game scoring an easy goal on us, and then another one before the 20th minute. We managed to put one in before halftime, and in the second, we used our secret weapon, their own defense, to finish with a draw. We take a little break from our local rivals to play in the Brazil Cup. and since our opponents Santa Cruz are from 2 divisions below us, I thought we could use our bench players. I was wrong. And with that, we say goodbye to the Brazil Cup. Back at the local league, we qualifying first of our group, which means we now have to face Corinthians, one of the teams that rejected me, and I wanted to get back at them. And we did. Easy game, somehow. Even Martiniano got out of his slump. Next, we play in the semifinals against the other team that rejected me, Palmeiras. For some reason the quarterfinals had just one leg, but now we have 2. I don't know what the other leg went, but now it's back. They managed to score first with a good shot from Sousa, and they also managed to score second with Paulinho. And then the match was over, we never really had a chance. Except that there is a second game, where they also scored first. This time we can fight, thanks to Mr. Popo finding a goal in the first half, and André Henrique finds another one in the second, but only after they scored the second one, and then they also got 2 more. Sadly, we're still not at their level. With the regional competition over, we shift our focus to the league, where we play another team from the same region. They get the first lap at around 45 minutes, but we tie only 2 minutes later thanks to Mr. Popo again. Same story later with another goal from them and another goal from us, and that's how it ends. In the same week, we have to face Deportivo Táchira from Venezuela, in Ferroviaria's first ever international game, and it wasn't what we expected because they thrashed us with no trouble. It's going to be a difficult season. From now on, we get a sequence of tough matches twice a week, every week, for God knows how long. We somehow draw with Fluminense, even though we scored first in the last minute, but it wasn't last minute enough, I guess. Then, against Belgrano, we conceded in the very first minute, and when all hope was lost, Martiniano, Jesus Christ on a bike! What a goal! And that's how we draw. Then we lose to Internacional and suffer at the hands of Alianza Lima. But this time we win. While the league is a struggle, we start to recover at Sudamericana, with another win against Alianza and one more to Táchira, and now there's only 1 game left, away at Belgrano, and only victory matters. Finally, we score early thanks to Mr. Popo. His partner André Henrique also scores and it's 2-0. Of course, they are not easy pickings, so they also scored a goal on us. Later, we get a penalty and VAR approves. Now, I'm not gonna say guarantees that we are through, but... And of course, they tie the game and it's over. We're still in the competition, but now it means that we have to play 1 extra round before the round of 16. But before that, we play in a few more league games, and it's around this time that I came up with a second tactic. Since we did not have any wingers good enough for this level, but we do have plenty of good midfielders, why even bother with the wings? So I pushed one of the fullbacks inside to give us better control in the middle, and leave the other one as an outlet so we can still spread the opposition. Using both tactics at different situations, we start to get some good results, like victories against Palmeiras and Flamengo, and a few draws along the way. By a few I mean a lot. Still, we're doing fine. Until it's Sudamericana time. Around this point, our squad started to feel smaller and smaller. We did well against Barcelona from Ecuador, but I can't even recognize some of the names that played here. The real consequence was in the league with 3 losses in a row, which means now that the transfer window is opening again, it's time for shopping! This time I looked for more depth instead of new starters, with Kevson as a left back, João Pedro and Franco Dias for midfielders, and David Braga for the attack. That's when I realized that I made a huge mistake, because Kevson and João Pedro can't play in the league. Brazil has this thing that a player that has played at least 7 matches in the league cannot play for another club in the same competition. That is to avoid cases like when Van Dijk moved to Liverpool in the winter. Well, the game doesn't warn you about that. There's still the Sudamericana. In our first match with some of the new signings, we lost one more time. Our next game was against Santos for Sudamericana, and everyone was available here. I was hoping the magic of the continental competition would strike us again. And it does. A surprisingly easy win makes me wonder why we can even play like this in the league. And I guess now they decide to do it because we got another big win against Vasco. After beating Santos one more time, we now have to face Atlético Paranaense, where we score first with Mr. Popo. Soon after they score twice and I immediately tell the boss to attack. And so we do, with our good friend own goal. Popo gives us the advantage back and it's half time. From a corner, Zé Marcos finds himself free to score the fourth, but of course, nothing can be that easy. When we face them again, we have a very even match, but Popo ends this with another header and we're through. In the league, we count with some help from Vitória's goalkeeper to get our biggest win yet. And something about playing against São Paulo feels like it's some sort of reset for us, because not only do we lose that match, which is fine, we just stopped winning altogether, which is not fine. We get 3 draws in a row where we were the favorites to win. Our next victory was against the Vitória again, with a different goalkeeper this time. I can understand. But we did not get our good form back and stay inconsistent in the league. But the important thing is the Sudamericana, which almost feels like a Brazil Cup at this point, because we have to play Corinthians now. And by chance, we also play against them in the league first. The first game was kinda easy, like we didn't score, no matter how much we tried. But we played so much better, it gave me hope for the next 2 games. And Sudamericana is our time to shine. Monsalve scores the goal of the year and a penalty. Corinthians scores one with Garro, and we thought, hey, we also like to score like that. And so we do, with Elias Torres crossing to Gianni to finish the first leg. The second leg is naturally a very tense affair, where they have all the good chances and we have this. But somehow we survive, and now we have to face Belgrano at the same time. With our shaky form in the league, we are not in great position 33 games in, but somehow it feels achievable. What do you mean the first place has only 57 points? We can do that. Our next game is against Goiás, and they show why they are ahead of us. Not only we couldn't break them, they just controlled the game with no trouble, but the only way to save the year now is our rematch against Belgrano. We had 2 games against them, 2 draws against them, where technically felt like they won. Not surprisingly, it's a very even game, with nobody being able to keep possession for long, and both teams having good chances to score. But the first one to score was Belgrano, so I do the obvious. I demand more football from the players. And just before the end of the first half, it's a penalty, and Mr. Popo is the one to take it, surely hoping for his redemption. And he does make it all even. One thing I can take from all those games against Belgrano is that we are probably the better team. It's just that we don't convert our chances as well. I remind the players of that, and we begin to have more control of the game. But none of that is enough so far. Trying to change things up until something works, I make a lot of changes, like moving André Henrique to be a false 9, and then I insert some subs that haven't played much, like Kevson, Júnior Tavares, Pochettino, and Martiniano, who hasn't performed so well this year. Nearing the end of the game, Lucas Rodrigues steals the ball and moves it up to Martiniano, who along the byline sends it flying to Mr. Popo, and it's in! With the match almost over, now it's Belgrano who's trying some random bullshit, which gives them one final opportunity to miss. And then it's over. This is Ferroviaria's first ever international trophy in men's football, and now we're also one of the top Polish managers ever. With the Libertadores spot guaranteed, now all that's left is to finish the season on a good note. We defeat Santos one more time with a goal from Fabio, and Coritiba with a 3-1 victory. And oh, what's that? Oh, there's 2 more games? We lose at home to Bahia and then to Cruzeiro. So we're finishing mid-table in a season that kinda felt like it was up for the taking. And finally, to make things easier to my successor, I completed some of the coaching badges, so now they can leave this place as soon as possible.